Hello twin flames and welcome to day 14 of Separation Heals. So during this series we're using the fabulous Divine Feminine Confessions deck by Bridget Rowe to really tune in, see why we go through separation, what it's all about and how it brings in healing. So thank you for being here, and if you are new to the channel, welcome, subscribe, join our family because we're here for you every day. And the angels say sometimes in separation you have to take a deep breath. You have to breathe things out and release so that you can see things from a new perspective and feel free. To understand that everything you're going through is teaching you something. It's growing you. It's an opportunity for you to learn, to turn away from pain, to turn away from hurt and to turn away from the hate and to really transmute all of that into the energy of love, power, strength and faith. So that you see with the eyes of compassion and you understand through the eyes of love. So today I'm going to bring in a channeling from a song. And rather than using the deck today, this song has been popping in my mind over the last few days. And I know I need to share this with you. And it was really confirmed today on a comment by one of our soul sisters, Lauren, who mentioned this song. And this is one of my favourite songs. And it really resonates with separation and what separation truly is. And this song is Enjoy the Silence by Depeche Mode. Depeche Mode, one of my favourite bands. So I'm going to read you the lyrics. I'm going to break it down and go through it. And that's going to be today's message because it's really powerful. So enjoy the silence. It's all about the time that you have during separation and how it heals you and what it shows you. Enjoy the silence is really a message about finding yourself, going within and working things out and understanding that when you're away from your twin, you're never really apart because they live within you and you live within them. So the message is, and this is the lyrics of the song, words like violence break the silence. And what is violence? Well, violence, this is what the angels have given me, is an act of harm. Violence is an act of harm. So when we think about violence, we think about rioting, we think about people pushing and shoving each other, killing each other, we think about physical pain. But violence is also an emotional abuse. And when we're in separation, when we go through the pain of being apart from our twin, when our twin flame says things that causes us harm, it's an act of violence. It feels very violent to our soul because our soul operates in love. And as a twin flame, you are here to learn unconditional love. So when something affects that vibration, it feels like an act of harm and it feels very violent to the soul. It feels very violent to you and it affects you physically. So even though you may have had that feeling emotionally, and it's affected you in your mind and in your heart, it's caused you physical pain. Because sometimes when we get verbally abused, or we get triggered, or we take things personally, it can feel as painful as physical pain. It feels that way because the body creates and the mind creates the same hormones, the same feeling that creates physical pain. So when someone hurts you, it can create physical pain, but you have the choice to change your views about it. You have the choice to change your perception, to understand if you're going to let that thing affect you physically and affect you emotionally, because you have the power to turn it around. Because everything that happens to you, no matter how much pain comes with that, it's neutral. It's the way you see it that makes it good or bad. It's the way that you experience it that makes it harmful or a reason to grow. So everything that happens to you on this journey is a reason to grow. It's an opportunity to grow, to learn about who you are. So when the words come in and they feel violent to you, they hurt you, it's like an act of harm towards you. You have the choice to say, no, I'm not going to take it that way. I'm going to understand why this is hurting me. why this is affecting me, what this is doing to me. So words like violence can break the silence. So sometimes the masculines like to go within to work things out. So when the words come, if you message them or you contact them before they are ready to hear it, it can feel very violent to the masculines. That means they're not ready to hear it, so they push the words away. So the words can be violent to them because they're jolting them awake. This is why separation comes in, and it's a great opportunity to give each other space, because space heals. Time heals. Time is a great healer. It can heal all wounds, and all wounds heal on the twin flame journey because we have to release and we have to let go. So the words sometimes can come in and break the silence. So when you're in separation, you have to break the silence to move towards reunion. But sometimes when you speak to your twin before it's ready, before the journey's ready, or before they or you're ready, it can seem very violent. That's why there can be heated arguments. That's why it may start off okay and then, it goes into pain energy. That's why. So if you've ever had that where you've been in separation and then you've tried to sort things out, or, you've gone into separation, maybe they aren't replying to your messages, and then you start sending more and more and more, and then they get more and more heated, they get a bit angry because you're not receiving a response. That can be an act of harm or an act of violence. So we have to take responsibility for our part in this journey and understand that when separation comes in, it's coming in for a reason. Because the masculines need to process their emotions. They need to process their situation. They need to understand how you affect their life and what that means for their life. And you learn as a divine feminine to let them be, to release it, to trust in the love rather than trying to chase it down. And as a divine feminine, and as I've been through this myself, I totally understand. We only do it because we want to sort things out. We need them to know that we care. We need to try and, talk about it like adults, but the masculines don't act that way. They can act very irrational and they act like children. So they have to go within and work it out. So all we can do as a divine feminine is just relax, breathe and find inner peace. So that's what that bit of the song means. And then the words like violence break the silence and they come crashing into my little world. So sometimes the words, they come crashing in. That means they can be heated. They could be very violent. A lot of passion in there, but also they can harm. Because remember, our tongue, our words have the power to harm or heal. And we have to remember, if we use words, we need to be in a place of love, because when we're in a place of anger or frustration or doubt, that's all fear. And fear is illusion. And fear causes more harm. So we have to make sure that we have to calm our minds if we are sending messages, because otherwise the words will come crashing into the little world, into their little world or your little world. Because sometimes the masculines say things to you and it affects your inner world. So what does this mean? Comes crashing in as like a tsunami. Things happening very quickly, very speedily. So sometimes words can come in fast and you don't know what to say, or the masculines don't know what to say or how to respond. That's why we're taught on this journey to respond instead of reacting. Because when we respond, we take time, we breathe, we process things, we do things more calmly from a place of peace and a place of love. When we react, we do things very quickly and things blurt out before we're ready. So we can say things we don't mean. And this is also connected with the masculines. So, see it from your side and their side, because you both do this at some point on the journey. You both say things that maybe you regret on the journey. Sometimes you both say things that you wish you could take back on the journey. So they come crashing in like a tsunami. And that's when we react in fear instead of responding with love. into my little world. And that's the hermit mode. That's your inner sanctuary, your inner peace. So sometimes you've got yourself to a place of peace and separation, and then their words come in, and it just kind of makes everything change around. It turns your world upside down because you are moving into a state of peace. And they come back and they just throw your world upside down like a tsunami. Or maybe they're processing their emotions and they're really finding themselves and they're becoming calmer and they're getting ready to reach out or respond, and then you contact them and it comes in like a tsunami and everything gets thrown up in the air. This is why separation heals. This is why sometimes it's a good thing to calm the energy, or, allow the water to calm. The old phrase, let sleeping dogs lie. Sometimes that's what we need to do. But you learn this along the way. It's not easy sometimes. You have to relax and breathe about it. You find out sometimes the hard way. That's why we can go through 1, 2, 3 or more separations in a twin flame journey, because we have to learn to let go. So the words like violence break the silence, they come crashing into my little world. Painful to me, pierce right through me. So again, that's the sign about how words can hurt and harm, can hurt. They can pierce right through you, like a knife piercing into your heart. Because when we're in separation, it can pierce the heart. And remember, it doesn't have to be a physical knife to feel it. It's psychological warfare. It's like psychic attack. It's painful. It hurts your soul. And that's why it causes so much pain, because it hurts the soul. Because on this journey as an unconditional loving being, we don't like conflict. And that's why as a divine feminine, we would rather sort things out than go into separation. We like to clear the air. We want to talk about things. But remember, that's the energy of the divine feminine, the Venus energy. Whereas the divine masculine is more Mars energy. Okay? Because men are from Mars, women are from Venus. And remember, it doesn't matter if your masculine's a man or a woman. It's the energy of the masculine and the feminine. So Mars energy is more volatile. It's more eruptive. It's more fiery. So the Mars energy, it's more, the masculines deal with it more in an irrational way. Feminines are more rational. You understand more. You're very calm, nurturing, loving beings. Whereas the masculine energy can be very volatile and irrational, and it can not make sense. That's why the feminine struggle to make sense of the way the masculine deals with things. Because the masculines will react. The feminines learn to respond. So that's why the masculines react the way they do. Very volatile, when they block you or say nasty things. And then they regret it as they process it. But feminines, sometimes you react because they push you that way. So you have to remember that words can be very painful, like violence, and they can pierce right through you. So it's about both. Can't you understand? So that's you both not understanding. Can't you understand? Because I'm reading this from both perspectives. So you say to your masculine, can't you understand that we should just clear the air and just talk about it and discuss it? And that's rational. Whereas the masculine say, can't you understand? I just need space. I just need to be left alone to process it. So this is where the misunderstanding comes in, because you have to understand that they learn their way and you learn your way. Okay, sometimes their way if you're in masculine energy, but you both learn in different ways. So even though you are the same soul, you're both polarities, you're opposites. It's the yin and the yang, the feminine, the masculine. So you have to learn this. This is why sometimes divine feminine, if you feel you need to be left alone, maybe not by your twin, but by people in your life, if you feel you just need to close the door and go within, that energy is coming from the masculine perspective. So you're feeling that. You may not want to block your twin, but you may want to block everyone else out. And that's coming from you experiencing the masculine perception. And then it says, oh, my little girl. So this is also the masculine saying, you're my baby. And you're saying to your twin, you're my baby. So this is about you realising that you both love each other. You're both precious. So that, oh my little girl, it's not condescending. It's saying you are precious to me. You are special to me. You matter. You matter the way a child matters to a parent, because you're both nurturing this journey. So your higher self and their higher self knows that separation helps to heal and nurture the journey. All I ever wanted, all I ever needed is here in my arms. So you both understanding that you're both everything you've ever wanted. All I've ever wanted, all I've ever needed is here. It's here in my arms. So when you're together and you're holding each other, when you're talking, maybe you haven't even held your twin in the 3D realm, but you've felt that energy. It's all you've ever needed. It's all you've ever wanted. So it's very hard to let that go. But the angels say all you've ever wanted and all you've ever needed is here in your arms, but it's in your heart. So the angels are changing that word from in my arms to in my heart, because you carry each other around in your heart. Everything you've ever wanted, everything you've ever needed is here. So when you're in separation, it's in here. It's the love you feel in your heart and your soul, because you're always connected. That's why you can't ever break that bond. I've got a red piece of string here, I'll show you. This red piece of string, and I put this together. So, it's a bit knobbly here. But you've got like, this is, and forget this here, okay? That's just how I've done it, but I should cut that off really. But this is the masculine, this is the feminine. And this is two separate pieces of string that I've knotted together. And it's an eternal bond. It doesn't matter how much I push and pull this, it can't break. That bond is eternal. So if you go your way and they go their way, that bond, it's unbreakable. It's forever. It's like hand fasting. It's like when, you see in the olden days where they get married and they wrap their hands around, they do this, I think, in Game of Thrones, and, they do it in all kinds of things where, you're together. And you'll always be together, and that's what the angels want you to know. Words are very unnecessary. They can only do harm. So sometimes you don't need words. They can be unnecessary because they can only do harm. So during separation, while you're both working things out and processing things in your different ways, words can only do harm. So that's why you have to let it lie, let sleeping dogs lie. You have to let it rest, to breathe. You have to trust the love. So you don't need words, as words are very unnecessary, which means it's a feeling. You guys are telepathically linked because that bond is eternal, it's forever. So you don't need words. Words are unnecessary. Sometimes they only do harm. So this is also a sign to speak on the 5D, to talk on the 5D, to tune in on the 5D realm, to send love on the 5D. This is when you connect in dreams and you're feeling each other. Words are unnecessary. This is when you're receiving signs in music and you're communicating with each other. Words are unnecessary. So you have to trust in the love. Vows are spoken to be broken. Now that's very much about karmic endings. Okay, vows are spoken to be broken. So sometimes words aren't real. And you have to remember that with the illusion of things. Sometimes we say vows and then we break those vows. So that can be when we're in other relationships or marriages or things we're in that we don't need anymore. They don't serve our soul anymore. So this is also the angel saying vows are spoken to be broken. So it's not just about the words, it's about the feeling, it's about the love. Words don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Yes, it's okay to hear those words, I love you, and all the beautiful things spoken through the mouth when it's spoken with love. But words are unnecessary. They don't mean anything in this twin flame journey because it's a feeling, it's something you feel. And vows are spoken to be broken. So when you speak a vow, sometimes it's broken so you learn and grow. Feelings are intense, thank you. Feelings are intense, the feelings you feel. The way it feels when you meet and the fireworks go off. That intense passion, that intense connection. It's something unlike anything you've ever felt before. Words are trivial, the pleasures remain. So it's a sign that, it doesn't matter what words were spoken. It's the way you feel that matters when you're speaking those words or you're experiencing those sensations. The pleasures remain. And the pleasure is the experiences, the feelings, the memories, everything that connected you. But so does the pain. So you still feel the pain. The pain remains and the pleasure remains. And again, there is a fine line between love and hate and pleasure and pain. So you have to understand that, in Hellraiser, the film, and it's a horror film, but it talks about pleasure and pain being very similar things. So you have to remember that you find pleasure through the pain. The pain that you go through heals because it teaches you things, it grows you. Imagine you're on a roller coaster. When you're on that roller coaster, it goes up and down, upside down. You feel pleasure, but you also feel pain when you go through the fear. So you go through the fear to experience that ultimate high, the highs and the lows, the ups and the downs, all those spinning cycles. Words are meaningless and forgettable. And the angels say words are meaningless, so words are illusion. Sometimes the masculines will say things they don't mean to the divine feminine. Not because they want to, but they have to. Because they can't deal with the intense feelings, they struggle. And those things they say to you is, I don't care about you. I don't love you. It's in your head. You're mental. They say all these kinds of things. It's not real. I'm happy with my karmic person. They say things that are illusion because vows are spoken to be broken. So sometimes they say things to you that they say is their truth, which is like a vow, but they are meant to be broken. So you can't trust the words. You can't trust words. What you can trust is the feelings. So words are illusion, and words are meaningless and forgettable, which means you can heal them. Forgiveness. Words are meaningless and forgettable. So yes, you remember things. Things do stick in your mind, but you forgive them. So where it says words are meaningless and forgettable, it's about the illusion and it's about forgiveness. Forgive the words. Forgive the lies. Forgive the things that have happened that have caused you pain. And move towards peace. Find peace. Because anything that's causing you any harm is an act of violence, an act of harm to your soul. You choose now to find inner peace and love. All I've ever wanted, all I've ever needed is here in my heart, in my soul, and in my arms. And that's the message. And where, I've made some notes when I was tapping in with this with the angels, and all I've ever wanted, all I've ever needed, the angels say, because you live inside of each other. So you have to remember that, divine feminines. You live inside of each other. And if you're a masculine watching this, you live inside of each other. Maybe you've tuned in because you're going through that right now. You're processing your journey. You're trying to understand why your feminine doesn't understand that you need space. And it's because they work from a rational viewpoint. You work from a irrational viewpoint. So it's really understanding that sometimes you can't understand what the other is going through, but you have to try and empathise with them and compromise and trust in the journey because you are supported, surrounded and loved by angels. So remember that. Enjoy the silence. And what does that mean in itself? It means enjoy the journey that you are on. Enjoy separation. See it as a blessing, not a curse. It's an opportunity for you to grow, to heal, to learn about you, to work on your dreams and your goals, to find yourself, to fall in love with life, to fall in love with yourself, to realise how special you are. It's not a time to be in pain. It's not a time to constantly be focused on them. It's a time for you, to grow for you, to heal for you, to learn for you. That's what separation is, and that's why it heals. And ultimately, for the divine feminines, it helps you to let go, to trust the love, to trust the power of the connection, to understand wholeheartedly that love conquers all. And for the masculines, it gives you an opportunity to process your feelings, to work out what you need to change, to realise who you are, where you're going, and why you were born. Thank you, and they give me fear. And it's an opportunity for the masculines to work through their fears. So even though the feminines work through fears, the masculines work through core wounds, real pain of abandonment, things that cause them harm. Because things do cause you harm on the twin flame journey, but you understand that happiness is an inside job and that you change your perception of everything on the journey and what you're going through, and that will change your reality of it. So see today as a blessing, not a curse. Enjoy this day. Enjoy this moment. Call on the angels because you are safe. Have a great day. Tomorrow we're going to be tuning back in with the cards. And somebody asked me how long this series is going to be. It's going to be as long as I need it to be. So we're going to use all these cards. So it's going to be a long series, but it will be worth it. Enjoy. Have a great day. Sending you so much love. And I'll see you soon.